Hey, welcome everyone. Sir Heroscape here today, coming at you with another installment of Ranking Heroscape Age of Annihilation. Today it's going to be Xiamara, the Curie Warrior. Just before we do, again, we're trying to reach 4,000 subscribers. We're doing a stopgap at 3,500. We're doing tons of giveaways. Subscribe, right? There's going to be tons of giveaways. In order to get in that giveaway, though, you need to comment on the giveaway video in the description and at the end of this video. There's a bunch of stuff. Go check it out. It's, you know, I'm excited just to give you guys a bunch of cool stuff for all the support that I've been getting. So get excited. Additionally, Age of Annihilation Waves 1, 2, and 3 are all available to order. Everyone's getting their stuff and playing and going to tournaments. Get your stuff now while you can. Get it pre-ordered. Wave 3 has been announced. If you already plan on buying Heroscape, by all means, please help support the channel and use the affiliate link in the description. And get excited because more stuff continues to come out. We've got stuff coming in February, stuff coming in April. They are just pumping it out, and new content is just flowing. So get your wallets ready. Get excited. All right, so Xiamara is hands down one of the coolest sculpts of the new Age of Annihilation. Love the sculpt, super cool, and just looks great on the battlefield with the other Ular Curie. So just gotta say that. Curie, you know, warrior, unique hero, noble, medium 5, all pretty standard, nothing crazy there. We've got the ability, stat block is a 5 life, 5 move, 1 range, 3 attack, 3 defense. Super average stats. Like, that's like, if you're looking for the average stats of anything, that's like a complete average block right there. So 80 points, again, not even referring to the abilities, 80 points for that stat block is like kind of cookie cutter template. Like when we're talking, hey, where should I price my figures and my you know, customs, or hey, where generally should figures fall? That's a pretty good start when you're thinking like survivability, how much damage can they output. Obviously the abilities have more relevance, but 80 points is a pretty good starting point for that stat block. You can kind of fluctuate on that based off of other things, right? Like the left buck stats, if they have, you know, bonding synergies and things like that. Obviously that can change, but this is pretty good. Okay, so 80 points, pretty solid. And then the two abilities, obviously flying, we know what flying it is. So really the big one here where she's getting all her points and her value is the Amulet of Pivotar. So when a Curie you control who follows Ular, again, there's no indicator there whether it's common, unique, whatever, okay? This is just a Curie who follows Ular. Within 6 clear sight spaces of Xiamara, the Curie Warrior receives 1 or more wounds, okay? So for a common squad, they're dying. For a unique hero, they're just taking wounds, right? You may roll the 20-sided die. If you roll an 8 through 16, ignore all but 1 wound just received. If you roll a 17 or higher, ignore all wounds just received, and the Amulet of Pivotar does not affect Xiamara. So this is actually a really intriguing ability. It can be really good or really bad. So you have to kind of think about a lot of the implications it has and then actually play test it to get a sense of the effectiveness of it. So what current Ular Curie exist? Well, you've got Xiamara now, and then you've got Mielke, who's the Spear of Sankari, I think, where if she deals wounds or double attack or whatever. And so we'll cover her in another video. But basically can do double attack and heal other heroes or whatever when she destroys a figure or whatever. Okay. Then you have Atlaga, who's classic Heroscape. Remember, he gives all Curie +1 movement. He can do his Bolt of Witherwood. And then you have the Protectors of Ular, which is the common squad, right? Like, literally a common squad can be affected by this, which is actually really cool. Now, it's very notable because of this ability that it really only impacts them on a 17 or higher, right? Because if you read it, it says that it negates all wounds except for 1 when it's within an 8 to 16. So it's really cool and really good for heroes when she's paired with other Ular Curie heroes, but it's kind of probably not really worth it, but kind of cool for squads. So when you look at it, it says if you roll a 17 or higher, ignore all wounds just received. Amulet of Pivotar does not affect Xiamara. So there's some really cool things about this. One, you can drop her in an army with Protectors of Ular And if the D20's hot, like, it actually is pretty cool, right? For 80 points, you're basically just, it's a free save, right? You know, 17, 18, 19, 20, that's a 20% chance of just a free save anytime your common protector of Ular gets killed, right? Now, what's also notable is Age of Annihilation has been pushing, or not common, well, actually maybe common, I don't know, but squads with multi-lives, right? We don't know if they're going to do common squad figures with multi-lives yet, but they've pushed unique squads with multi-live. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that there's going to be an Ular squad with multi-life. Now, this is specifically Kiri, right? So it would have to be a Kiri Ular squad with multiple life. But if there were a squad with multiple life, and that it was a Kiri Ular squad, this would be a really cool ability. In fact, it would be very significant, because if it was a 2 or 3 life squad, this ability would activate on an 8 through 16, right? Because if someone's taking a bunch of damage and you're like, oh crap, it's a 2 life squad or a 3 life squad, and man, I just died in one hit because I blanked, all of a sudden an 8 to 16 keeps them from taking all the damage, and they only take 1 damage. So again, that's future design space that hasn't been done yet, but it could, which makes this a really cool ability where, again, in the future, you can have some really cool designs come out where this becomes more relevant for squads. Right now, it's not, though, right? I mean, it's only activating for the Protectors of Ular on a 17 or higher. So really, the biggest value you're getting with this is if you're pairing her with Mielke or Atlaga. Now, that's not particularly good, right? Most competitive armies aren't going to have multiple heroes like that, but in the right format, it could, right? If you did a all heroes format, or if you did a only small and mediums format, or if you did some sort of, I don't know, whatever it is, there could be a format where this would be a really cool synergy, where you could throw Atlaga and Xiamara and Mielke all in the same army, and they're all self-synergizing. And so even though in a competitive setting, your standard 500-point army with, 13 figures or whatever isn't necessarily going to be the best for these units right now, there's some really cool, fun things you can do. Like, think about a dungeon delve, right, where you throw in these heroes into a battle against a dungeon boss, or you're trying to just do a scenario battle and you throw them all together. Like, there's really cool things you can do with that because of that, right? So, again, by all means, not unusable, and still a very cool ability. I love that it's a range of 6 aura. Also note that it says clear sight. It's not just line of sight. So clear sight allows you to see any part of the miniature. So even if you see a tip of the wing or a sword pointing out, you can still activate this ability. And 6 spaces is actually quite far. So if you drop her 5 spaces out, she has an effective range of 12, right? From, the center of the aura, right? So it's pretty cool, what you can pull off here. Now, if we're talking ranking, like where she falls in terms of, hey, really, on the list of where I want, units to fall, right now I have to throw out a B-. In fact, maybe even C+. If you look at her stat block, it's super generic, 80 points. She's just on her own. She's not going to fill 80 points. She's a single attack unit with base 3 attack, base 3 defense, 5 move, 5 life. That's super standard. And so she's just not likely going to fill her points on that alone. Now, what that means is that she has to fill her points on saving people, right? Now, most of the time she's going to be best trying to throw in with Protectors of Ular to save those, but it's only 20% chance. So odds are she maybe saves 2 during a game, right? Which arguably could make it worth her points if then at the end of game she becomes the last figure and can kill the last 2 figures. Whatever the case is, I just think it's going to be hard to pull off getting her a lot of value right now. Because there's some cool interactions, but just not a lot to really make it worth her time or her points. So I would say that you can have some fun shenanigans with her in armies with other heroes, or try and get her to work in the Protectors of Ular, but you're really looking at a B- unit. C+ on a bad day, B- on a good day. You're not getting much more out of her at this point. Again, I think she could be really, really cool as more designs are added for Ular Kiri, because she could be a staple draft. Just anytime you have a common squad of of Ular Kiri, whether that's more common squads or unique squads, whatever the case is, or even more heroes. Honestly, even if they add a bunch of more Ular Kiri heroes, she could be a staple draft just because she can save people. So right now, B- on a good day, C+ on a bad day. That's Xiamara. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time.